You're listening to the episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, after the end of this show, I bet y'all are going to be hungry because we're talking with Brian Roberts at Meatmiesters, and we're going to be talking grilling. We're going to talk about his charitable work and how, if you're interested in that, how to get a hold of him, because you do a lot of the local events around here. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
And it's to me a very unique ministry, and that's exactly what it is, and that's the way y'all approach it. We'll be talking about that as well, and in particular about the Easter sale of hams. That's how they be able to afford some of this charitable activity. And no joke, I highly endorse the hams. This is just, I'm not just saying this to be nice, even though I am nice. I'm just saying I got a ham last year, and my mom was very impressed, and I was tempted to take credit for it, but I just couldn't. But we ate on that ham for 3 days.
Mama's happy. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, you betcha. You bet that's true. But before we jump into all the grilling and of Mr. Roberts, so to speak, we're going to talk about the sponsors to make this happen. Thank you, Daniel, over CrossFit Burleson at 317 Southwest Wilshire. They have the plans. They have the routines. They have the trainers, the classes. They have classes early in the morning and into the evening, and people there to help you get to where you want to go with your fitness goals. So check out their CrossFitBurleson.com page for memberships and times. Also, thank you to Shandy Stocksdale. Sorry. With the Stocksdale Group. If you're looking to move in and around the Burleson area, then you'll be able to, get somebody with expertise that knows what's going on in Burleson if you hook up with her, because she's really a very, very knowledgeable person in real estate. And as you well know, and she's been on the show several times now, as running for place 4 of the school board. She'll be on again sometime in April. So we can get up to date about what's going on with that race. Also, thank you to Our Place. I just came from Our Place, so if I'm like burping through the shows, because I sat there, had a little brunch, if you will, with Otto, just chewing the fat. Not literally, though, because there's no fat. Otto, if he heard that, he'd probably shake his head. He opened up a third store. About that?
Did.
Yeah.
I actually have to be there next Wednesday. I have a customer for my real job in Waco. And
Waco.
only way I'm
right.
allowed to show up is if I bring Our Place pies.
Is that right?
I'll be there next Wednesday, so I will eat breakfast and grab my pies and take them to Waco. So
Where in Waco, by the way? Because I went to school there.
well, it's actually Hewitt, I guess, like south of Waco.
Oh, I know where it is. I went to Baylor, as many of my faithful listeners know and are tired of hearing about. But anyway, but as far as Waco, I really like that town. I know a lot of people think of it as kind of a cowboy town or kind of rough. And it may be that, but I really loved it there.
They're doing great things over there.
Anyway, back to Our Place, since he's actually paying for this. They have that place. I asked him where it was, and it's right off the downtown square, right next to the Liberty Hotel. So go check it out. It'll be great food and great service, just like everywhere else. He has besides the one here, they have one in Mansfield as well. Also, Wild Cigar and Culture. Go over there and get yourself a decent cigar, a decent drink. Do your business over there. Are you a cigar smoker?
I am not, but Chris and Damon, two guys on our team, are very big in cigars.
Well, then they had to drop by here because they have a really big humidor and they have tobacconists, not just, some guy they hired, but as like people trained in this to help them find the kind of tobacco they really want. And
we don't need to give them any help to get out of work.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, them two.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, or we make good
I'm going to test to see if they're going to listen to this, because they'll call me out for talking smack about them. But they'd be the ones to sneak out and go smoke a cigar.
Well, you make good gifts, birthdays, or Christmas, or whatever the occasion.
I might have to buy one after calling them out.
Yeah. Okay. Also, thank you to Local Life Magazine. Their magazine will be out in about 10 days. I know Tiffany's hard at work now. It's a great advertising magazine. It goes directly to 30,000 homes, has like 110 to 111,000 people. It's estimated to see it. Plus, I see it at Our Place. I see it at a couple other retail outlets, on the counter and stuff like that. So, you're going to get plenty of good coverage. So contact Tiffany over at Local Life if you're looking to direct market like that. Also, thank you to Southern Gem. Now, you need to take Mrs. Roberts over here to the jewelry store. Since you've been on the last show, my wife has now joined their organization. She now works for them. and it's a dangerous thing. You know, she comes home and said, I just saw something I really, really like. And I said, hey, let me show you something else you might not like. That's the Visa bill. But anyway, the Southern Gym is on the 3rd floor of the Windmiller Building. They'll be down on the 1st floor. I saw Gayla yesterday at our BNI meeting, and they're really hoping to have it done by around April 15th. So that's the hope, if they can get through all the contractor issues and shortages and whatever else. So there you go. But we also have Hot Works with Michelle Humphrey over in 731 with the infrared workout, 11 different workouts, in fact. It's good for those that have maybe arthritic joints, inflammation, things like that, you know, at the various levels of intensity. But the infrared method also decreases the stress upon your muscles and whatnot. And so I know several people that are members of the Hot Works over there, and they just swear by it because they think it really does help them with some of their joint issues in particular. Also, my insurance agent, hopefully one day yours, Texas Farm Bureau, Melissa Harmon at 682-804-0534. I saw her yesterday as well. And, you know, she is really trying to get people upgraded on their house insurance. That's the big push right now. And I got my insurance upgraded and actually got it at a lower cost. But it's important because we're about to get into hail season and hurricane season, or whatever, or tornado season. And so you want to make sure that you got everything covered that you need to be. Also, we got a couple of other things going on. BNI Visitors Day. This is going to be next Wednesday. So we're getting closer to it. Next Wednesday, March 29th, over at the Hampton Inn, which is across from our place. Hampton Inn, BNI is a networking group. Gayla's a member. Melissa's a member. Michelle is on sabbatical, but she'll be back soon, sometime when her business allows it. We're looking for expansion. We're looking for new members. And so check this out. If you want to network with a group that is pretty serious about networking, it's not just us. That has these meetings. This is an international organization. There are chapters all over DFW, and there's a lot of cross-chapter referencing. So if you come and join our group, you may get references from somebody in Fort Worth, and that's a pretty good deal. Also, we got the Center for ASD light up tonight at the Brick, April 1st. There's going to be clowns. There's going to be a magician. There's going to be a petting zoo. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be games and events. The Center for ASD is a wonderful, wonderful outfit. They've been on my show several times. And they're going to be having this event for one of their two basic fundraisers. So we'll be talking more about that as well next week. I have Reach across Johnson County, and the niece of my guest, Erica Byers, is running this. So there you are. All right. What do you want to talk about first?
Oh, goodness. So many.
Let's talk about how you got started in this. I know you've been on the show before, but it's been a little while. And since my vast listenership has gotten even vaster since then, tell us how you got started in this.
So it all started many years ago. I think kind of got going about 10, 12 years ago. I was just a in love young man with my now wife, and I wanted to impress her and her dad. And my cousin has muscular dystrophy, and there's an organization out there called Camp Craig Allen, benefits adults, kids, anybody with physically disabled. And they did a amateur barbecue tournament at that time, and I said, hey, hopefully future father-in-law, let's make a team and let's go cook. And a friend of his came up with the name on one random night, and Meatmiesters was born. We thought we were going to be the next world barbecue champions, and but we learned pretty quick that wasn't our.
Well, there's a lot of people take it pretty seriously, you know?
And that was kind of that was a turnoff for us. We got in trouble at a couple of barbecue tournaments we went to because we were too friendly.
Too friendly.
They don't want to talk to you. They don't want you looking at them. They don't want you talking to them. They don't want you anything. And we were thinking this is boring.
Well, you think that you were going over there and steal their recipe or whatever?
You would be amazed.
I guess not. But I guess I thought those kind of grilling out events would be
not those guys. Fun. They were way too serious. And then
oh my.
About that time, we started doing things in the community, and then shortly after that, we had an opportunity to help out the Children's Advocacy Center of Johnson County. They had a sponsor that paid for the dinner every year, and they no longer came. And we said, "Well, what about us?" And from that, I think we're on year number, this would be 6 or 7, and we said, we'll do it. We'll cover it. Don't pay it. And our first year, we were able to cook the dinner for, I think it was probably 1,000 people then, 800 people, as well as give $1,000. And since then, we've never charged them $1. We've never asked them for anything. They help us with a couple of sponsorships like HEB. But other than that, that kind of started our Heart of Giving.
You know, you mentioned the sponsorship with HEB. I mean, how does that work? I mean, it's not like you can just walk in there and talk to the manager. I'm sure there's a lot of hurdles to get through.
Well, we were blessed because the Advocacy Center handles that one. They've had a relationship with the one in Cleburne, and Terry Bay, he's not there anymore, and if he listens, he's an amazing man. He's at a different HEB, but that organization is just incredible.
Right.
They give a certain amount of money and kind of a gift cards, and we're able to go in there, buy meat or whatever we need, and they go over and above. And HEB's an amazing organization. And
oh yeah, they're very charitable here in Burleson, across the state. A lot of educational scholarships and other kind
and
of.
And they help us out, greatly to be able to do the food, because for that many people, we do a full barbecue dinner. It's not cheap. It's brisket, sausage, sometimes chicken, 2 or 3 sides, everything. So the Advocacy Center helped. They've developed that relationship, and they're working on it now for the next gala in August.
Yes. Have they already had their cowboy poetry one or something like that? They have a cowboy-related type of...
Yeah, it's called Cowboys for Kids is the event.
Right.
They used to do a big concert, and they did away with that. Now they have the big gala and a lot of stuff for the kids. It's an amazing night.
Yes.
It's humbling to see people give, as well as learn more about the Advocacy Center and what they do.
I've had Tammy King on here before.
Great lady.
Yes, very much. I very much admire not just her, but also people like her, like we were talking about before the show about Harvest House, which will be on Monday. And you had a personal story about Harvest House.
Yes, yeah. Growing up, I had a single mom. She worked her tail off, and there was a moment or two in life that I can go back and remember with school supplies. Right. And I'll never forget them helping my mom with school supplies, and never made her feel less of a mom. Right. And because my mom was a very proud woman, and she was an amazing woman, and she loved the Harvest House, and even before she passed and life was good, she always would do anything she could to give back, and that resonates in me. So I shout out to the Harvest House. I love what they do in this community. And
well, Jennifer will be on Monday, and I'll pass the message if she
please do. Yeah.
But I guess seeing that kind of activity also probably sparked a little bit of desire to give back in y'all's part.
Absolutely. Our organization's not just, yes, it's family. My mom instilled that in me as a young man, as a single mom who didn't have much money at all. But she always knew a way to give, whether it was helping someone financially, emotionally, just being there. She instilled that in me and my brothers and my sister long before, but as well as just our family. On our team, there's 2 cousins of mine, Chris and Russell, and then my father-in-law, Randy, and then Tony, who's just been my best friend for years, and Damon, who's been a great friend, best friend of Chris's for many years. So we're not some guys off the street. We're a family, and we believe in passing on the next generation. We all have kids. Of course, my father-in-law has grandkids.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and mention that.
Right.
But it's about doing what we were taught to take it to the next generation.
Well, who do you do these events for? I know you mentioned the Children's Advocacy Center. What other outfits have you done this grilling for?
So at ASD, we did their, I think they call it a gala. It was the dance night. It was pretty awesing.
It was last year, right?
Yeah.
This is the second annual one. The Light Up the Night is the second annual one.
Yeah, and there's one they're doing in October that we're going to be teaming up with them again, and we're looking forward to that. We do Lifegate Church. That's church that Tony and I go to. We do a lot with them. We love teaming up.
Where is that?
It's right behind Hobby Lobby off, goodness gracious, I can't remember the road off the top of my head. Directly behind Hobby Lobby, next to that pool on the corner.
Oh, yes. I know which one you're talking about. It used to be a Methodist church a long time ago. Yeah,
Yep.
I know exactly where it is.
So we love teaming up with them. We love teaming up with the youth group there. Although the last 2 times we haven't been able to meet schedules, but we love going on Wednesday nights, giving away food, as well as doing stuff just at the church in general.
Right.
It's just a part of doing what we love. And then we have one of our newer organizations, One Tribe. It's a benefits our soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
We do a couple different things for them throughout the year, as well as Chop Hearse. It's an organization. They have a motorcycle chopper with a way to carry a hearse, and it's
that's
a lot
amazing.
of our vets have a love for riding motorcycles, and what they do is they give them their final ride, so they could request that.
It's interesting. I've never seen a chopper with a.
It's an incredible thing to see.
Yeah, I would bet.
And hearing the stories, and then the gentleman that created it is a vet, and I think they're throughout many states. And we had the pleasure and opportunity to go last year at a couple different events and talk with some of these vets and hear their stories, and it's absolutely incredible. So that's we love that organization, One Tribe and Chop Hearse, and doing anything we can to support them.
You know, one of the benefits of this job as a podcaster, my little humble podcast, is I get to talk to people like yourself and others that really give back to the community. I've said this many, many times. I'm very, very fortunate because I get this global view of what's going on in this type of community. And, I have Next Step Women's Center on several times a year. Same with a group called Re-Inspired, which is also out of Cleburne, which helps foster kids adjust to adulthood. I have, besides the Harvest House, besides Center for ASD, I've had other groups come on for special events, and I just think, wow, we have a lot of people that give back to this community. I don't know if every community has that.
No, and we have also there's Young Life in Joshua. They they expanded the middle school recently, and we're actually doing their clay shoot on April 1st. So go check them out because that's an awesome event to just if anything our schools need more, it's more Jesus, and and they're in those schools. They're in Teresa. I believe she's doing it full time. Was a former educator, and she does an amazing job. And they, like I said, expanded to middle school, and they just share the love of Jesus and doing it in a fun way.
Yes,
And
we had that kind of group in my high school, and at Burleson we didn't have so much a formal organization, but we had kids that took it upon themselves to have like Bible studies before class and things of that nature. And I was very fortunate because the rules are if you have any kind of meeting of students that's going to be recognized as a club, you have to have a sponsor, a room to land in. And so I'd say, yeah, you can use my room. I'll be just doing my stuff. And they used my room for that. And I was very fortunate to see, I got to meet some young people that really were dedicated to the Lord and to spreading the word and things of that nature. And you hear all this stuff about kids, but boy, there's some good ones out there.
Absolutely.
And they don't get all the publicity maybe the knuckleheads do, but I guess get to see that as well. And that's one of the benefits. You get to see all these different groups and all their different activities.
Yeah, and it is a blessing because you get to see the things that go on in our community and the support we have within our community. And if anything, we need to bring exposure to the positive things we have, like the Advocacy Center. What they do for our kids in this community who go through the worst possible situation is absolutely incredible.
Right.
And how many cases they see is sickening. But it's right here in our county, right here where we live. Young Life, they're bringing kids in who parents want them to go to get out of the house.
Yeah, right.
Or they want to go to get out of their house. And it's sad, but we have these organizations out here. We have so many churches with Wednesday night activities, and it's needed, and our community does a great job of doing it. And sometimes we focus more on who's running for mayor or city council or something that matters, but it gets the attention of, it takes away the attention of, we don't share the positives.
Well, and there's a lot of positives to be shared in Burleson. I've lived here since 91. I've taught here since 88 or until I retired, but I run across people like yourself and these other groups all the time, and I'm just like, how I feel very fortunate that we have people like y'all because, there's only so much really that even the churches can do, and so it takes these kind of organizations. And I'm glad if this podcast helps y'all even in a little way, because I kid about my vast listening audience. I hope it gets out. So I hope your friends share this.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. But as far as how do you access the meat? You mentioned HEB donations, but that doesn't cover all of it, does it?
No, HEB that one we use directly for the Advocacy Center because that takes up 100% of those, plus more. But the way we access meat is we ad shop. So, for example, if HEB, Kroger, whoever has, for example, pork butts on for 99 cents. Game on. Go buy them, put them in the freezer because we'll use them. And we try to get creative on ways as we, when we go to buying in bulk or buying, if there's a company that wants to help out with an event, we ask, we have one that called Air Balancing Company, ABC, and they're constantly supporting us for the Advocacy Center for one, and many others. And we just have to get creative.
So sometimes you have somebody that maybe here's $1,000 to go buy you some meat.
Absolutely.
And that kind of donation.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that's probably the primary way. Isn't that right? Isn't so much.
Well, the hams.
Yeah.
This is our one and only fundraiser we do a year. And we do our best to stretch it out as well. We have the seasonings and stuff, but a lot of that's more for.
Well, here's the on the screen. Here's the Easter hams themselves. They're $45, and I can tell you right now that's a bargain because not only is it really, really good, but you're going to get about at least 3 full meals out of it. So,
and it was hard for us to go up to 45. Last year was the first year we ever increased. We wanted, our goal doing this. There's hams companies, people out there who sell hams for a lot more money.
Oh, yeah.
Our goal was not only to sell hams and raise money, but we want to make it affordable for families to make it easier on them.
Well, way I always calculate when I have an expense like a $45 ham. If I get 3 meals out of it for my wife and I, that's $15
Absolutely.
a pair, $7.50 a piece. You're not going to get that at a restaurant anywhere. So it's a smoked spiral sliced ham. You pick them up 7th and 8th of April. Where at?
So we have on the 7th is that Friday. So you have the Children's Advocacy Center in Cleburne. We'll do a pick location there. And we just opened one up in Weatherford at the Texas Church of God Convention Center. A couple of the guys, Chris, Russell, and Damon live in that area, Weatherford, Azle, Springtown area. And this is just an opportunity for them, their community to help. And so we added that one on Friday. And then Joshua Nutrition on Saturdays where we do our main pickup. So those the 3, and of course, if there is an issue with those, reach out to us. If we can meet you in the driveway, we'll do it. Also, if you go to the Children's Advocacy site, or I think let me take that back. There's a donation ham for that you can buy it and donate a ham.
Right.
And what we do with those is we team up with the Advocacy Center. Probably the week before, we'll reach out to them and say, how many hams do you need for families? Because we make sure that every family at the center who needs one gets a ham, whether it's paid to donate or not. That's been our goal since the first year. So we donate hams to any family that needs one at the center. They tell us how many, and we give them hams. And then if there's any extra that were donated, we give to local law enforcement, fire department. It's actually a fun tradition. We always give to the local police because we always call it in to say, hey, come pick up your ham, and it's always fun to watch them show up, and they get to make a call that's exciting.
Yeah, instead of the usual routine. So it says order online at Meatmiesters.com. So just get on Meatmiesters.com, and there's a link to order it.
Absolutely. Go to our Facebook page, and you can follow the link there.
Okay. So again, just make sure we'll run this with the other ads like I did with ASD until your event's over, but it's not a problem at all. It's my honor to do that. But Friday, April 7th at the Cleburne Children's Advocacy Center, 5 to 6. Also on Saturday at the Nutrition Center, Joshua Nutrition from 2 to 4. That's easy to find. It's right on the main drag.
Absolutely.
Of course, everything in Joshua's on the main drag, right? And then I'm trying to read it. Texas Church of God Convention Center in Weatherford. That's also from 5 to 6 on that Friday evening as well. So if you order online and get a ham, great. If you buy 2, that's even better because somebody's going to benefit from that. Yeah,
and again, we make sure that, we've had a local church reach out one year that said, hey, if y'all have an extra ham, we have a couple of families, and great. Let's just do that plus some.
Well, I mentioned about how my mom really liked it. I might just get one for her just to keep, for herself, so that kind of thing. Because we do Easter with my family, and this is what it's built around since the next week is Easter. And, it's a lot more food there than what sometimes we need.
Make great sandwiches.
They do. They do. And it was, you heat it up a little bit and then put a little cheese on it, a little mustard, and you're good to go. But anyway, we'll run this screen one more time before the show is over just to make sure we're all good to go. But this is basically your budget for the year, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. This is it. I mean, we'll do something here and there. We have a couple of things where you can call it catering, but we have a family reunion that happens every year. and they use us, and it's easy. It's a chance for us to do it kind of low key, and they pay us to where we can use those funds for it. We don't we don't have the time and availability to do those. You know, people always ask me cater this or that. We can't. It's not who we are.
You have a real job, right?
Yes. So
what is that job?
So I work for a company called Composites One. We sell raw goods to make fiberglass materials.
Speaking of goods, we were talking about this before the show. You got hit by the supply shortages that everybody else is. You know,
Absolutely.
You know, I talked to Otto about this before, and it's always something you never really think about until you don't have it. For him, one time it was straws. You know, is that happening with y'all?
Yes, we had it, and when we did an event for one tribe, and it was kind of like to-go consumables, we couldn't find plates or bowls, or we were having to get extremely creative to get things, and we got to the point where we found it. We had to buy more than we needed because we know we needed it, but you have to do what you have to do at that point. We were highly concerned last year when it came to hams, because there was a ham shortage and all that. So we had to constantly, barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
they
right.
couldn't, pickles, the little things that you think are available.
Right.
Actually, I think it was we had to change the menu I think it was Advocacy Center because they didn't have beans.
Oh, you can't. You have to have beans.
So we had to do green beans. I think it was it was one or the other. So we.
I hate green beans.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It's one of those things you have to. Nothing you can do about it, except get creative.
You need baked beans.
You
barbecue
do,
beans.
but-
That's just the law, isn't it?
But nobody had them, so you had to get creative. And we've seen it kind of loosen up a little bit, but the prices are still extremely high. So we've had to. We don't want to tell people no, but we make commitments to some of these organizations, and we're gonna make sure we honor them. And sometimes we can't do it all, and we wish we could, but financially it just
Yeah,
it has to.
you have to say no sometimes. And
Yep.
but as far as the fuel, what do y'all use to cook it with?
Majority we use oak or post oak and hickory.
Okay, so nothing like propane or
We can't. I don't want to say propane because that's cheating. But yes, we use. Our smoker is equipped with a propane assist.
Yeah, okay.
So we're old. We can't. It's hard to stay up all night.
Oh, I know that because a lot of people think it's not like grilling on the old Weber grill. It'll take you about 10 minutes. You're done.
No.
It's an overnight thing.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with Jambo's Barbecue in Rendon.
Oh, that's a good place.
Yes, they're an amazing organization company there. They have a couple giant smokers that they let us use as needed. As well, they help us with purchasing food because they get either better buy price or availability. So shout out to Jambo's, Jerry out there. They're an amazing company.
Well, it's amazing how much barbecue is around Burleson. I mean, and not to have to pick one over the other, but Jambo's is good.
No, you want a baked potato, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
And they have a heart to gold. And like I said, they've been helping us and supporting us for many, many years. Definitely, it's one of the great ones.
Well, that's what I think when we get back to the expenses of this. Everybody thinks the meat is the only thing that you have to deal with, but no, you got fuel, you got the sides, you got the
Barbecue sauce,
condiments, the plastic forks, things or whatever. The plates, all that stuff is basically part of your budget, right?
Yeah,
and
we're blessed with them. Like I said, amazing friends and family who are always asking and looking out for us. We have one of our sponsors, Sucklebusters.
Right.
So they help us with our seasoning.
Yes.
They
You showing me here with this, Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they help bottle it and label it for us. But also they give us a discount on seasonings, sauces, and for example, the Children's Advocacy Center. I called Dan Arnold, the owner at Sucklebusters, and said, "Hey man, funds are tight. Can you help me?" And he didn't say, "Yeah, I can." No, he said, "How much? Send me what you need, and I'll have it in the mail tomorrow." And he gave us the seasoning. I mean, you're talking 40 briskets we cook alone, and he sent us all the seasonings, the sauces. Anything we needed, he didn't question. And they're an amazing company, sucklebusters.com. They have amazing seasonings, sauces, rubs, you name it.
Last time you were here, you gave me this, and I have used primarily the all-purpose rub, the one in the middle here, and also the sweet mesquite rub.
That is my favorite. That is my daughter's favorite.
Right. Now, I tried the Sugar Daddy, the sweet heat, and my wife is not really big on hot type spicy foods, but it worked for me.
Yes.
I liked it just fine, but when I use this, she prefers the standard one here, the all-purpose rub, and believe me, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I mean, she's good in barbecue, the standard barbecue, but if you put other types of rubs on it, she's very particular. And if she likes something, that tells me something. So this Suckle Busters is really good. I remember this from last time you were here, your motto, giving back 1 Q at a time. That's a great motto.
That is.
But I really appreciate this a lot, and she'll be excited to see it.
Great. And if the sugar daddy's too spicy, give it away. We love to.
Well, I gave it to my son.
There you go.
He likes hot, spicy stuff. I gave it to my son. He lives up in Oklahoma City, and he grills a bit.
Pork chops is where it's at on the sweet sugar daddy.
Well, I tried it on chicken, and it worked fine.
Good.
And as far as the other rubs I used on steak, and just it was fine and dandy. And
wonderful.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's one of the ways we...
and we got some stickers here.
Yeah, we're able to raise a little bit of money. Again, it's not our big... That's just more of a marketing, getting our name out there. And, of course, anybody who barbecues a lot, kind of a cool thing to have your logo on a seasoning.
We were talking before the show. I don't know if we did it on the air, but we talked about these competitions. They take it seriously.
Yes, that was always our dream when we first started. We were going to be the next, Kansas City world champion barbecuers, take over the world. And we did it. I'll never forget. We did a barbecue event in Irving, and it was a complete crap show.
Really?
Because we were having way too much fun. People just had no desire to want to talk to you. They didn't want you around. We were told to settle down at one point because we were having too much fun talking to people, and we're like, what the heck? We're barbecuing.
I thought it'd be more of a, country fair kind of atmosphere.
Some are, but man, most of those, and I get it. You spend a lot of money to show up, but that's when we're like, man, this is not as much fun as we thought it would be. And that's when we found our niche, giving food away, because nobody complains about free food. Especially when you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. So that's where it's at.
I was asking you, how does one judge one barbecue over another? It's what you like what you like. You walk in there and I'd like this. Oh, I like this better. I don't know if I could differentiate on an objective basis which one I like better. I just like it. Yep. But I guess they have some sort of training.
Yeah, and that's great. And I guess you got to have rules. But I'd rather we cook. I couldn't tell you if we cook the same way every time, but we cook with love, we cook with fun, energy, and most of the time it turns out great. Sometimes not so much, but
I bet it's fine.
It's a blessing that we are able to do it, and it's fun.
Well, it must keep you pretty busy. Like you said, you have a job, you have children,
absolutely,
and wife, and full-time obligations there, and then you do this. How many weekends a year do you think you do this?
Probably at least 8 to 10. 8 to 10. Maybe more. Not counting, any weekday little things. So it does, it takes a village. In our organization, I started out, I didn't have any kids, or I had young kids. Well, now my kids are getting older, and a couple of the other guys' kids are getting older. So tides are starting to change a little bit to where everybody's taking on more of a responsibility, and it's awesome to see, as well as our kids being involved. So, for example, Chris, his son, Cade, has been off at school, welding school. One of the cool things is where he started to learn to weld was on our smoker.
Is it Hill College by any chance?
Nope, he was in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, okay.
But he helped on our smoker, him and his dad Chris, and it was a cool moment because our smoker was built pretty much by them two doing the welding, doing the work, and then he goes to school to be a welder, and when he's home, he helps. And Tony, his son's 15 and goes to high school, plays baseball, but he's there. We had an event one morning that I think we had to leave at like 6. Landon was in the truck ready to roll. Damon's daughter, she's in cheer and softball. She shows up to events. She's helping. My kids are, they're younger, 6, 8. They're there and working. So it's fun.
3 kids, 3, 6, and 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, when they get older, it'll be a lot easier to raise them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But and then that's what we say is the next generation, because it's important to us to not only give back to the community, but, let our kids know that how blessed they really are.
Yes.
A cool moment for me was last year at the Advocacy Center dinner. My daughter came and, she didn't understand. Her job was rolls and barbecue sauce. She took it serious and she rocked it. Super proud dad. But afterwards, we're walking around doing the auction, and they were auctioning off, who has $100 to give for Christmas for kids. And she looked at me. She goes, "Daddy, what do they mean?" I said, "Well, honey, not all the kids in this world have amazing mom and daddies who can buy you Christmas presents and take you do things at Christmas time. Yeah, even school clothes. And she says, really? I said, yeah. And it was the coolest moment, and very proud parents she says, well, Daddy, do we have $100 to help? And I said, honey, we do.
Yeah.
So it clicked for her that this was bigger than barbecue, that we were cooking for kids who need it.
Right.
And she realized her life's not bad.
Right.
Well, don't ask her this morning. She was kind of grumpy, but
but
no, and it's awesome because Landon is in high school and he gets to go to these events, and God forbid someday he has a friend, he knows places that can be there for these young kids, and it's the next generation, and that's what this world needs more.
And we need this in the community, because one thing Jennifer has told me on her appearances from the Harvest House, if you're listening audience is not familiar with Jennifer Woods from Harvest House will be on, and she's been on before, and their needs have grown about 30%, their clientele list, so to speak. And also I have a woman named Debbie Beeman over at Promises Community over at First Baptist here, and she said the same thing. And Next Step Women's Center said they're seeing more and more clientele. So it's the economy is what it is, but there's still going to be a lot of people that are falling through the cracks, and it seems like more and more, and that's happening. And Burleson, as a growing community, is seeing more than its share. It seems like the issues of Fort Worth are moving south. So
yeah, and let's not forget, inflation doesn't just affect us personally; it affects everyone.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. So tell me about what's happened with the prices of not just your condiments and such, but the meat itself.
Oh, meats have and that's been a big issue for us, because we've had to kind of take back on some of the events we do because we just financially can't. We've teamed up with a couple organizations where we ask them to you purchase the meat or reimburse, and we handle the rest. And of course, that's not our dream situation, but where it still costs you a little bit, but not near what it would. But we still show up, we cook it, we do our part in serving it. But we just have to get creative, because briskets, for example, it's going to be $3 to $4 a pound, and when you're feeding the amount of people that we feed, that adds up very, very quick.
That leads me to two other questions. Like this Advocacy Center is probably one of your larger events.
Absolutely.
How much meat do you cook?
For that one, we do, I want to say we did 40 to 50 briskets. And then we do, I couldn't tell how many pounds of sausage. And we always do a little bit of, this year we didn't do all three meats, but we did do a little bit of chicken just for people who don't eat meat eat beef.
There are people like that?
There are weird people out there like that. But we want to support all,
right.
So we don't want to judge.
We want to be inclusive. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it adds up, pretty quick. We do, like I said, 40, I think actually 50 briskets this year. And then, not only the briskets, you have to season those briskets. You got to cook those briskets. You got to wrap those foil. Who's ever profiting off foil, congratulations. Because a big roll of foil is, I want to say, $40 now.
Really?
And that, it adds up quick. And where before we would not be as conservative, now our dishwasher has to do a lot more washing of pans. So shout out to Russell. I know he's listening, so he's our director of dishwashing activities.
Director of dishwashing activities.
Yes. I would say social media, but he's done a horrible job of it.
Okay.
Just kidding, Russell. I love you. He's a cousin, so I got to say something mean about him.
Okay. But so, I just, the meat itself, $4 or $5 a pound, you're doing, so that's expensive. And the sauces and the spices and all this other stuff. But I know that meat has gotten more expensive. Absolutely. And, I've mentioned this to some people, that my cousin is in raising the cattle business, and he ain't getting the money. So if people think these cattle ranchers are, banking hard, they're not. It's just events. We can blame who we want to, but the farmers and ranchers aren't getting their cut. But it's very expensive.
Yeah, and that's it. We all know that cards were dealt, and none of us did it. So we spend more time bickering about, like I said earlier, is who's mayor, who's this, in our little groups. At the end of the day, I don't give a crap who you voted for president or who you're voting for city council. If we can, the House, for example, I want to see those two groups go together and give. And if we have more of that and less of the keyboard warriors, this community would be.
You live in Burleson?
I technically live in Joshua.
Joshua, okay.
But I was born and raised, and I'm no longer a voting citizen of Burleson. But
Yeah, but you keep track of what's going on.
I believe in I love Burleson.
Yeah.
It'll always be a part of my heart, and I love Joshua.
Yeah.
But if the world, even on a grander scale, just spend a little bit more time on these local organizations and spend more time together on that end, a lot of your differences aren't that different.
Not really. And it's unfortunate that sometimes it gets a little out of
Absolutely.
hand. But as far as y'all, I mean, if somebody wants to contact you, how would they do it?
Yeah, the best way is through social media, or you can go to our Facebook page. our website, and we have an email address there, and just let us know. Like I said, if we can, we will. If we can't, we'll tell you, and don't be offended if we can't, because trust me, I wish we could quit and do this full time. We're actually working to do our 501(c), because right now it's we're not official, so to speak. So
Right.
we want to grow to where we can get some more donations and
Tax deductible.
because a lot of these organizations,
right.
companies need that to give.
Right.
So we're working hard at that. That's a whole different beast. So
Yes, it
if
is.
anybody, you want to take on that for us, we would love your help, because it's very time consuming to get that started up. But that's imperative for us to continue our growth and giving. We have to do our part. So So
Back to the expense issue. You did something like the Advocacy Center. All said done. What's the dollar amount that would be needed to make that happen?
oh goodness, something like that. I would say $4,000 to $5,000 is what we spend.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was guessing. Doing the math in my head, just to meet alone is probably more than half of that, I would imagine. And then, and fuel ain't cheap anymore, is it?
No. I mean, fuel, and then the little things is what definitely adds up. But no, I would say $4,000 to $5,000 is what our cost is to put something like that together. And we're doing this long enough. We've been able to have enough utensils or tools of equipment to cook. But that always there's still maintenance and.
Yep. How much money do you think you'll raise on the hams? Is that hope to anyway?
Our goal is to sell 125 hams, and if so, that would be enough to handle all of our events.
Really?
So, I would think we'd maybe make $3,000 if we hit that. I think, but we have money where we have other events that we budget in to help fund, like the Advocacy Center. So
Who handles the budgeting for you?
That's me.
It's you. That's why you get a little stressed here.
Well, and it's a team effort. I say I handle the budgeting, and we all know what we have to do. We don't do anything too crazy. We know that what we have and what it costs. We've been doing it long enough that we can say, okay, here's the number we're going to spend on this event, X event. We don't always get to do what we want cooking wise, but
do what you can, right?
Hey, a barbecue sandwich is better than a peanut butter sandwich.
That's exactly right.
So,
well, and I was thinking also, you probably, have done this enough that you can gauge how much food you need, so you don't have a lot of wastage.
Correct.
But if you have leftovers, I'm sure it goes to somebody somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's not going to just throw it in the dumpster. That'd be a crime against
we have
humanity.
fed many police stations, fire departments, homes. We find a home for it.
Yeah, and probably some outfits have storage facilities, hopefully.
Yeah, we have, if there's extra meat and sometimes we do cook extra on purpose because we like to have meat in the freezer to give to a family in need. For example, there was a family, I think it was the mother was going through stage 4 cancer.
Oh my.
And they just needed food. So we were blessed to be able to say, hey, here's some stuff in a vacuum bag, heat it up as you need it. And that was left over from a couple of events that we do.
And I'm sure, kind of like you were talking about, the memories of Harvest House and the youth, it's going to stay with them as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
If and it sounds like if you had your way and had your budget, you'd do more than you would do.
Oh, if it was, if we had the money and the time and the resources, we could do some amazing things within the community. But we do with what God's given us, and we're blessed to be able to do it. Not everybody can. I mean, I'm blessed with a company that with flexibility where I have time. I can take days off or whatever, and we're all blessed, and for us to be able to give, we love it.
Well, what's your service area, so to speak?
So we've expanded. Burleson, Joshua, this Johnson County area has been a big one for us. We do the events for One Tribe. So they do an event at the Harley-Davidson in Colleyville. I think that's where, Colleyville or Coppell. I can't remember which one.
I think there's one in Colleyville.
Yeah, so it's Colleyville. Then we do a big thing at the big event they do at every year at the Harley-Davidson. And they also do an event, Carry the Load in downtown Dallas. That's a huge event on Memorial Day weekend.
Carry the Load.
So it's where soldiers, vets, walk for their brothers and sisters, and you want to talk about humbling. We drove in, we took, I believe, dinner one night, and they sleep in like businesses, let them sleep in the parking garages, and you're driving in downtown Dallas, just rows of fallen soldiers, and you hear stories of who they're walking for their fellow brother. And one gentleman had a prosthetic leg, and he was walking for one of his brothers that he died in the battlefield with. And you have not felt humbled until you hear stories of these young men and women who've done more than I could ever imagine, and to be able to cook for them and bless them. And I'm just cooking barbecue.
Yeah. Well,
and you hear the stories of these young men and women and what they're fighting mentally, physically, emotionally. One Tribe has been an amazing add to our organization because it reminds you of the blessings we're able to do this because of men and women who sacrifice so much that we as a country sometimes take for granted.
Well, that sounds like a fascinating event. I know Burleson has some veteran-related activities and whatnot, so I hope maybe we can expand upon ours.
Yeah, and we love our vets. And again, One Tribe is just, we knew, came from Chophurst, so we grew a relationship with and teamed up with them, and then it grew into One Tribe. So that's how all these events, a lot of organizations go, is we knew somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Right.
So again, reach out, email us, Facebook message us, and if we can help out, great. If we can't, don't forget about us.
Well, your one of your delivery points is in Weatherford. Are you moving in that area as well?
So we've done a little bit in that area. I mean, Russell who lives in Weatherford, and he does a lot of stuff locally at his church and in that community. So we don't have a certain area. We go where we're called to go. We've gone. Before COVID, we were going to Frisco every year for charity barbecue, where we started.
Really? In Frisco? When I grew up in Plano, Frisco was just a map reference.
Yeah, now it's insane.
Huge.
And they haven't been able to have that barbecue event since COVID, but with Camp Kerguelen, but we go where we're called. I mean, I don't remember God putting any boundaries on us to. So
if you have one in Waco or maybe something like in Temple, you'd make the trip.
If it makes sense, absolutely.
Well, it's a lot of driving.
But again, could we? I mean, not always, but we'll do whatever we can if we're able.
If you're able.
Yeah, and that sometimes we, like I said, we can. For example, the ASD Center, we love that organization. They asked us if we could do one in May, but unfortunately we couldn't. And I hated it, but they're an amazing org. Trust me, I wish I could do every event.
Right.
But
right, and
it is what it is.
And maybe as you expand, though, maybe if you get particularly the certification for nonprofit and all that business,
that'd be huge.
Yeah, that would be helpful. And I don't know how much the show will help, but I like to do this every time about this year.
Thank you. Yeah, we love coming. It's a lot of fun to share our story, to share what we do, because Meatmiesters is hard to explain.
No, it's to me, it's very apparent. I mean, God uses the skills of people. People think they have to be either an evangelist or a pastor to be used by God. That's no. That whatever gift you have, and your gift is cooking meat, and that's truly it's a gift, and you're using it for God's service, and there's jewels in your crown for that.
And you can't cook, but you can walk, and you can have a gift of walking. You can come help us out anytime and walk stuff.
Well,
everybody has a gift, and it may not be the gift that you want, but
right. I'd rather have a gift to sing better than I do, but I don't. But the other nonprofits I talk to, they talk about how people try to contribute to their causes in ways that you really just don't think about. Everybody thinks they have to be front and center to be used by God, and no, just the opposite. In fact, and like the Next Step ladies will tell me, or ASD people will tell me that they have people that will contribute either items or skills that you think I had never thought of that before.
Mm-hmm.
And, in cooking meat, I see it as highly necessary, for these events because it makes them more people attend, more people can donate, more people are
And they're
getting
more
helped.
profitable. And, you know, it would cost, for example, the Children's Advocacy Center, that event would cost upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 to feed all those people.
Yeah.
And our way of looking at it is we're saving them $15,000 to be able to put those funds back into the center.
Right.
Same as ASD, where it would cost however much for them to go out and cater it. We're able to do it to where they can put those funds back in their organization, and that's where we don't give a lump sum, but our lump sum is the value is what you don't have to do.
Right. Exactly. And I just think it's a great testimony to you and your family and your extended family. And I know people are being blessed by this all the time. Taylor, will you put the ad back on, please? So just to make sure everybody knows, you go online at meatmiesters.com and you will be able to order the ham. And now, like you said, order an extra one if you want. Now,
There's a donation tab, and we'll make sure there's a home.
So it is a separate tab. So you can order one and then you hit the tab and order a second one. When is the deadline for that ordering, by the way? I didn't ask that the first time.
So the cutoff is April 1st, and I'm going to get yelled at, but if it's April 2nd, I can make it happen.
Yeah, okay, make it happen. But don't push
tell
it, huh?
Chris I said that.
Yeah.
Chris and Tony will yell at me for breaking the rules, but we can do it.
Yeah, of course. April 1st. So we'll be pushing this pretty well. Now, let's say I forget and I push it on my show on April 4th. You're not going to, well, I guess that would be too late, huh?
Nah.
Well,
Push it to April 4th.
All right.
And say, Brad Allard sent you, and we'll honor it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that ought to get them impressed.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll push this all next week.
Thank
certainly.
you. Yeah, we appreciate that.
So meatmeisters.com, and you can order one for yourself, order one for mom, like I'm going to, and it really is a good deal. I mean, I can't stress this enough. The food is worth the money. It's not just you're doing the right thing. Probably most of us will either be picking ours up from this area over at Joshua at the Nutrition Center on Saturday afternoon on the 7th. But if you live in the Cleveland area, it's also the evening at the Advocacy Center. And then if you're in Weatherford, over at the Weatherford
Conventions. Church of God Convention Center.
Yeah, Church of God Convention Center. That's an interesting name.
Yeah.
I guess it's their Church of God's Convention Center, not the city of Weatherford. That'd be an interesting name for that. But and it's also on Friday evening as well.
Correct.
Well, I really have enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And appreciate very much the meat grills. My son will like that sweet, sassy stuff. I know. I'll be seeing him in a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Hey, it's Easter. Even if they don't want to, they got to get together.
You can give me an Easter present now.
Yeah, there you go. But I like to let the guests have the last word. So tell us what you would like the audience to know, because most people are going to access this later in the day or tomorrow. So, like to end with what you would like for them to know about your organization.
So I think just what I know about us is we're just a group of guys and women and families in this community who have a love to give back. And just because we do this doesn't mean that you can't do something the same to give back in the community. So if you see us out and about, come say hi, visit our site. If you need seasonings, Father's Day coming up, order these because
or Mother's Day.
Mother's Day too. I mean, we're Meatmiesters is a family organization. We spend a lot of time together. We yell at each other. We fight like family. But we also love each other like family and love our community like family. So we appreciate any support. And if you have a way that you think you can help us, please reach out. Or if you just you don't, but you can shoot up a few prayers when we we'll take that too.
Sometimes that's just as good.
Yeah. So.
I'm reminded when I'm sitting there thinking about, trying to economize the food, I'm thinking of the fish and loaves. And it's the only story in Bible that's on all four Gospels. That's how important feeding hungry is. And so now, but I'm sure if you were on at that event, you would have catered that as well.
If we can cook it, it's like Field of Dreams. If we cook it, they will come. And if we can cook it, we will. Yeah. And we love it. We have, like I said, we've been called to do it. We have a passion for doing it. And we wanted to keep this going for a lot longer than this. And
well, God willing, it will.
absolutely.
Meatmiesters.com, guys. Get yourself a ham for Easter. Next week, I have, like I mentioned, Jennifer Woods is going to be here for Harvest House. And then on Tuesdays, I have a new guest, Eric Byers from Reach Across Johnson County. And then I'm going to talk to a friend of mine from the mortgage industry, Candy Gow, on Thursday because
Interesting.
well, because it's a lot going on, and she's also a BNI member, and I like to talk to my BNI friends. So, anyway, thank y'all. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And Taylor, thank you, and I'll see y'all next week.